Welcome to the longest running quiz show in the area. Categories. High school students compete to answer questions on topics from art to science, history to current events. And now, here's your categories host, John Bartell.
Hi, welcome to Categories. Today we're bringing you a matchup of two Shawnee Mission schools, Shawnee Mission East versus Shawnee Mission West. Let's go ahead and meet our competitors, first from the Lancers.
I'm Sarah, I'm a senior at East.
I'm Mackenzie, and I'm a sophomore at East.
I'm Brian, I'm a junior.
I'm Hannah, I'm a senior.
And let's go ahead and meet our competitors from Shawnee Mission West.
Hello, I'm Ryan, I'm a senior, and my superpower is the ability to see invisible things.
I'm Brittany, I'm also a senior, and my superpower is being able to fall asleep instantaneously.
I'm Hannah, and my superpower is procrastination.
I'm Julia, I'm a senior, and my superpower is the ability to walk and read at the same time.
I'm Erin, and I'm a senior, and my superpower is the ability to fly.
And once again, I'm your host, John Bartell, and I have no superpowers that the government will allow me to reveal. All right, here on Categories, in the first round, we will take turns answering questions. If a team responds incorrectly, the other team will get a chance to steal. We did a coin toss before we started taping. It was won by Shawnee Mission West. So Shawnee Mission West, here we go. The first category is U.S. geography. This U.S. state, the farthest from England, is the only one whose flag has the Union Jack. Name it. Hannah.
Hawaii?
It is Hawaii. Lancers, vocabulary is your category. What is the four-syllable name for the study of human factors in the design and operation of machines and their physical environments? Mackenzie.
Ergonomics.
Ergonomics, very good. Vikings, current events is your question. The day after Thanksgiving is known as Black Friday, but President Obama shopped on Saturday at a local independent store to honor what? Erin.
Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday, very good. Lancers, literature, poetry is your question. A hero of a Robert Burns poem gave his name to a distinctly Scottish kind of headgear. What is it? Time on that. Vikings chance to steal this literature poetry category. A hero of Robert Burns' poem gave his name to a distinctly Scottish kind of headgear. What is it? It's the Tam O'Shanter. Tam O'Shanter. Vikings, you do get the next category. It is world history. What was the name shared by three kings of the Scots, a Christian emperor of Rome, and the last king of Greece? Lancers, chance to steal this world history category. What was the name shared by three kings of the Scots, a Christian emperor of Rome, and the last king of Greece? Hannah.
Constantine.
Constantine, that's correct. Lancers, you do get the next category. It is science, medicine. What is the most prevalent and perhaps most preventable form of cancer in women aged 25 to 30? Mackenzie.
Breast cancer.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Vikings, chance to steal this science medicine category. What is the most prevalent and perhaps the most preventable form of cancer in women aged 25 to 30? Ryan.
Cervical cancer?
It is not cervical cancer. It is skin cancer. Skin cancer. Vikings, you do get the next category. It is sports, specifically golf. What's the only kind of golf hole you can shoot a double eagle on? Time on that. Lancers, chance to steal this sports golf category. What's the only kind of golf hole you can shoot a double eagle on? Brian.
A par 5.
It is a par 5. East, you do get the next category. And the category is TV, specifically game shows. The challenge for contestants on what game show is deciding whether or not to sell their briefcases they choose. Sarah.
Deal or no deal?
Deal or no deal. Very good. Shawnee Mission West, math, statistics is your category. A histogram is a type of graph used in statistics. It is usually shown by columns and is therefore also called a column diagram. What kind of distribution does a histogram show? Hannah?
Time.
I'm sorry, time is incorrect. Lancers, chance to steal this math statistics category. A histogram is a type of graph used in statistics. It is usually shown by columns and is therefore also called a column diagram. What kind of distribution does a histogram show? Brian?
A distribution over intervals.
I'm sorry, I cannot accept that either. We're looking just for frequency. Lancers, you do get the next category, however, and it is U.S. history. The War Powers Act was passed in the wake of the feeling that Congress had not been sufficiently involved in the decisions that led to the U.S. involvement in which war? Time on that. Vikings, chance to steal this U.S. history category. The War Powers Act was passed in the wake of the feeling that Congress had not been sufficiently involved in the decisions that led to U.S. involvement in which war? Ryan?
Vietnam War?
It is the Vietnam War. Vikings, you do get the next category. It's another history question. This time it's inventors. The year 1949 saw the end of an era when the last commercially built steam locomotive was completed in the U.S. What type of engine was in the forefront of the revolution that overtook steam locomotion? Ryan?
A jet engine?
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Lancers, chance to steal this history inventors question. The year 1949 saw the end of an era when the last commercially built steam locomotive was completed in the U.S. What type of engine was in the forefront of the revolution that overtook steam locomotion? Brian?
The internal combustion engine.
Sorry, we cannot accept that either. We're looking for the diesel locomotive, the diesel locomotive. Lancers, you do get the next category. It is general knowledge. You can ride a ferry between Nova Scotia and what U.S. state? Mackenzie?
Maine.
It is Maine. Vikings, literature is your category. Which writer's life story was titled The Fairy Tale of My Life? Time on that. Lancers, chance to steal this literature category. Which writer's life story was titled The Fairy Tale of My Life? Brian?
Hans Christian Andersen.
You nailed it. Very good. East, you do get the next category. It is U.S. geography. What name given to many cities by the ancient Greeks included a city in Turkey that was the center of early Christianity? The present-day city of Amman, Jordan, and almost 2,000 years later, a city in southeastern Pennsylvania. Vikings, chance to steal this U.S. geography category. What name given to many cities by the ancient Greeks included a city in Turkey that was the center of early Christianity? The present-day city of Amman, Jordan, and almost 2,000 years later, a city in southeastern Pennsylvania. Ryan?
Philadelphia?
Philadelphia. Shawnee Mission West, you get the next category. Government is the category. What Swiss foreign policy tradition has encouraged the growth of banking? Ryan?
Neutrality?
Neutrality. You've closed the gap a bit. We have a score of Shawnee Mission East 6, Shawnee Mission West 5. Lancers, vocabulary, word origin is your category. The Latin word umber, as in umbrella, has what meaning? Mackenzie?
Shade.
Shade. Very good. Shawnee Mission West, history, Native American history to be exact, is your category. About which event was Sioux leader Enos Poorbear speaking when he said, "We Indians look on this as our finest hour"? Ryan?
The Battle of the Little Bighorn?
That's correct. Shawnee Mission East, you get the next category. It's science, specifically alloys. Modern pewter no longer contains what toxic metal? Hannah?
Lead.
It is lead. West, your category is film. Roger and Me, Bowling for Columbine, and Dude, Where's My Country are three of the works of what documentary filmmaker? Ryan?
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore. Shawnee Mission East, sports, equestrian is your category. To change suddenly into a gallop from a trot or pace is called what? Mackenzie?
Cantering.
I cannot accept that. Vikings, sports, equestrian is the category. It's your chance to steal. To change suddenly into a gallop from a trot or pace is called what? It's called a break. A break. West, you get the next category. It is music composers. Name the American composer of the following popular song. Maple Leaf Rag. Julia.
Scott Joplin.
It is Scott Joplin. Shawnee Mission East, general knowledge is your category. Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin are the only two non-presidents on bills up to $100. What is the combined worth of their currency? Brian.
$110.
$110, very good. Shawnee Mission West, American history is your category. In what year and in what city did the Continental Congress first meet? Time on that. Lancers, chance to steal this American history category. In what year and in what city did the Continental Congress first meet? Brian.
Philadelphia, 1774.
That is correct on both accounts. Very good. Lancers, world geography is your category. Of Milan, Palermo, Venice, Genoa, and Naples, which important city is the main city of Lombardy, a region in the north of Italy? Mackenzie?
Milan.
It is Milan. Vikings, you have the next category. It's U.S. geography this time. Name the only U.S. state bordering Alberta, Canada. Hannah.
Montana.
Montana, very good. Shawnee Mission East, current events is your category. Name the puppeteer who voiced the Sesame Street character Elmo and resigned last week among scandalous allegations. Brian.
Brian Edwards.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Vikings, chance to steal this current events category. Name the puppeteer who voiced the Sesame Street character Elmo, who resigned last week amidst scandalous allegations. Kevin Clash. Kevin Clash was his name. Still is. Vikings. Vikings, you do get the next category. It is Shakespeare. Which character's last words were, "O happy dagger, this is thy sheath"? Julia?
Juliet.
Juliet. Shawnee Mission East, the next category belongs to you. It is U.S. government. Which act of Congress states that the president may commit U.S. armed forces when an armed attack on the U.S. armed forces occurs? Let me read that over. Can we start around the time of that because the siren went off right in the middle of it. Which act of Congress states that the president may commit U.S. armed forces when an armed attack on U.S. armed forces occurs? Brian.
The War Powers Act.
It is the War Powers Act. It's kind of a popular question today. That siren does denote the end of our first round, and we have a tight match right now. Shawnee Mission East is leading by a score of 12 to Shawnee Mission West 10. At this part of our program, we will go to a representative from each school, and they will give us a campus update. And first up, we have Brian from Shawnee Mission East. Brian, what is happening with the Lancers?
Well, our winter sports teams just have recently started practice and are gearing up for a busy winter season. Additionally, our theater department has begun rehearsal for the winter musical, which will be The Drowsy Chaperone. And finally, our academic decathlon team recently took a couple of gold medals at a regional tournament.
Outstanding. So doing it again on all fronts. When is the winter sports? Have they started playing yet, or do we know yet?
I don't think competition has started. I know practice started pretty recently.
Okay, all right. Shawnee Mission West, it looks like, Ryan, you are giving us an update. I think you might have some big news for us, but why don't you tell us what's happening with the Vikings?
Yeah, well, okay, at Shawnee Mission West, our football team won the 6A state championship Thanksgiving weekend, so we're all proud of them. Also, last week, our theater program finished their production of the play Fools. Everyone at Shawnee Mission West is gearing up for the Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas season. And also like to add that Shawnee Mission West won the 6A state championship for football. So, yes.
All right, so nice you mentioned it twice. Very good. All right. Excellent job on both schools there. As we head into the second round, which is the lightning round, we will place a question on the floor for either team to answer. However, before we start off with that, we do have our look and listen question. The question is displayed for those here in the studio so they can answer the question. It is performed like a lightning round question in which once they know the answer, they may ring in. If a team does respond incorrectly, the other team will get a chance to steal. So here we go, hands on the buzzers. This is worth 2 points. Students, name the vehicle seen here that was credited with taking the first photo of space.
This one never reached its goal, but in falling short, it clearly shows the destructive power of Hitler's one-time secret weapon.
Ryan.
The V-2 rocket?
It is the V-2 rocket. Very good. And 2 points awarded. And we have a tie score here as we head into the rest of the lightning round. Both teams, here we go. The next category is science, specifically botany. Sphagnum, which absorbs water like a sponge, is a type of what? Mackenzie.
Moss.
It is a type of moss. Both teams, fine arts, painting is the category. Identify Gainsborough's masterpiece. It's the picture of a youth in satin clothing. Hannah?
Blue Boy.
Blue Boy is correct. Ancient history for both teams. Thucydides not only fought in this 5th century BC war, he also wrote history of it. Ryan?
The Peloponnesian War.
That is correct. Science, mammals for both teams. The bat is technically the only mammal that flies. However, there is another small mammal of the rodent family that uses long flaps of skin and has been known to hover about from, Ryan?
Squirrels? Flying squirrel?
Flying squirrel is correct. Geography, maps for both teams. What is a map that shows the boundaries of nations and states called? Ryan?
A political map?
Political map. And you've taken a 1-point lead. U.S. government for both teams. The case of Tennessee versus Lane basically dealt with the ADA. What landmark legislation do those letters stand for? ADA. Ryan.
The American Disabilities Act.
That is correct. Languages, French is the category. How does a Frenchman say 70? Hannah?
Say 10.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Shawnee Mission East, chance to steal this languages French question. How does a Frenchman say 70? Soixante-dix. Soixante-dix. Literature for both teams. In his first book on human nature, Hume attempted... Mackenzie?
Darwin.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
No.
Vikings, chance to steal this literature question. In his first book on human nature, Hume attempted to found a science on a man based, to found a science of man based on the physics of what British scientist? Brittany.
Newton.
It is Newton. Both teams, general knowledge is the category. It is multiple choice. Which of these museums is the largest in terms of square footage? The National Gallery, the Rijksmuseum, the Louvre, the Smithsonian, or the Guggenheim? Brian.
The Louvre.
It is the Louvre. Ancient history for both teams. The Bronze Age came about as man learned to harden his all-too-soft copper with an admixture of what other... Ryan.
Tin.
It is tin. Science, terminology. A scientist evaluating the effects of shark repellent on sharks cannot test the repellent on the entire population of sharks. So she decides the actual subject of the experiment by using what technique? Ryan?
Random sampling.
Random sampling or sampling, yes. Fine arts for both teams, specifically painters. His paintings are noted for their fantastic dreamlike quality. Mackenzie?
Dali.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Vikings, chance to steal this painter's category. His paintings are noted for their fantastic dreamlike qualities, such as his composition, I and My Village. Born in Russia, he did most of his paintings in Paris. Name this 20th century artist. Ryan?
Marc Chagall.
Marc Chagall is correct. Music terminology is the next category for both teams. Paris, Hafner, and Prague are all nicknames given to works by Mozart of what musical form? Hannah?
Symphony.
Symphony, very good. Science, specifically the solar system, is the next category for both teams. Infrared, ultraviolet, and visible light. Hannah?
Radiation.
I'm sorry, cannot accept radiation. Vikings, chance to steal this solar system category. Infrared, ultraviolet, and visible light are all part of the solar system. The basic difference between them is what property? Hannah?
Wavelength.
Wavelength is correct. World geography for both teams. 6 years of complex negotiations concluded in 1988 when 33 nations agreed to open all this land to international development of its oil and mineral resources. Hannah?
Antarctica.
Antarctica is correct. U.S. government for both teams. On July 26, 1947, the United States Department of Defense was formed. What two executive departments were incorporated into the new Department of Defense? Department of War and Department of Navy were combined on that one. Sports, diving is the next category for both teams. How many meters high is the platform for platform diving? Brian?
50.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Vikings, chance to steal this sports diving category. How many meters high is the platform for platform diving? Aaron?
25.
I'm sorry, that also is incorrect. It's 10 meters. Math for both teams. Going to have to do a little adding and subtracting in your head here. I'm not going to, that's not the operations you're going to have to use. You may have to use other ones. Charles built a round table with a diameter of 3.5 feet. He wants to put metal stripping around the edge of the table. To the nearest foot, how many feet of stripping must he buy? Hannah?
21.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Lancers, chance to steal this math question. Charles built a round table with a diameter of 3.5 feet. He wants to put metal stripping around the edge of the table. To the nearest foot, how many feet of stripping must he buy? Brian?
19.
I'm sorry, the answer is 11. 11. Current events for both teams. He received worldwide praise for helping broker a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Name the president of Egypt who recently granted himself sweeping. Brian?
Mohammed Morsi.
That is correct. You've closed the gap a bit. We have a lead of Shawnee Mission West 22, Shawnee Mission East 17. General knowledge for both teams. What is celebrated at midnight on the second new moon after the first day of winter in China? Mackenzie.
Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year is correct. Geography, another flag question for both teams. From 1977 to 2011, what North African country's flag was just a solid block of green? Ryan?
Libya.
Libya. Economics, marketing for both teams. In this popular method of merchandising, a company gives individual dealers the right to sell a widely advertised product in exchange for an initial fee and a percentage of the gross profit. The McDonald's hamburger chain is a prime example. Ryan?
Franchises.
Franchising.
Franchise.
Science, enzymes is the next category. Name any of the 3 enzymes in the pancreas. Brian?
Insulin.
We will accept that. Very good. Music, specifically genres in this category. Of An American in Paris, Bolero, The Rite of Spring, Tales of Hoffmann, and 1 O'Clock Jump, which pieces would be labeled concert jazz? Julia.
An American in Paris and 1 Jump, whatever the last one was.
Sorry, cannot accept that.
Okay.
East, you have a chance to steal this music genres category. Of An American in Paris, Bolero, The Rite of Spring, Tales of Hoffmann, and 1 O'Clock Jump. Which of these pieces would be labeled concert jazz? Brian?
An American in Paris?
Yep, it's just An American in Paris. Just An American in Paris. World history for both teams. In 1945, 7 nations joined together in the League of Arab States in order to form a vast empire. Name any 3 of the original members. Ryan?
Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Syria.
Those are 3 of them. The other ones were Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Yemen. General knowledge for both teams. If you want to watch your cholesterol, you should do well on this question. Which of these 3 foods is highest in cholesterol per ounce? Is it butter, margarine, or mayonnaise? Brian?
Mayonnaise.
It is mayonnaise. Vocabulary for both teams. The answer to the following question will be an adjective named after a famous person. It's one who believes that the laws of history lead inevitably to a classless society. Brian?
Marxist.
It is a Marxist. You've narrowed the gap here, 25 to 22. Science for both teams. Which of the following is not a layer of the sun's atmosphere? Is it the corona, the photosphere, aurora, or chromosphere? Brian?
The aurora.
The aurora is correct. Military history for both teams. Quotations, to be exact. Which Civil War general declared, "The war is over, the rebels are our countrymen again"? Brian?
Ulysses S. Grant.
That is correct. Another general knowledge question for both teams. The official name of the 1962 World's Fair was Century 21 Exposition. Nearly 10 million visitors attended, including Elvis Presley, filming It Happened at the World's Fair. This World's Fair took place in which U.S. city? Aaron?
Chicago.
I'm sorry, Chicago is incorrect. Lancers, chance to steal this general knowledge question. The official name of the 1962 World's Fair was Century 21 Exposition. Nearly 10 million visitors attended, including Elvis Presley, filming It Happened at the World's Fair. This World's Fair took place in which U.S. city? Hannah?
New York.
It is not New York. It is Seattle. Seattle. A great game, but that siren does denote the end of our contest, with Shawnee Mission West winning 25 to Shawnee Mission East 24. Once again, another great game played by both teams. Join us again here next time on Categories, as we promise to bring you the best and brightest minds of high school students all throughout Johnson County.